Let's go. I'm trying a new face on. What do you think? Inspired by Pixar. I think it's a little freaky. I mean, I still have my cool hat on. You can see it, right? Anyway, let's talk about creating content for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, just creating any content on video. Here we go. When it comes down, you know what? Let me switch my face off. There we go. Normal face back on. Normal face activated. There we go. Now, I typically split this process up when I'm shooting video for any one of those social platforms. I split it up into two. And number one thing I do is I take one day, one slot to write out what it's going to be about. So for instance, for this video, I took time on my red video folder, right, to outline on this side exactly what I'm going to be talking about. And then on a second day, I block a little bit of time to shoot a video like this. And I have an example for you so you can follow along with it. But that has been key for me in creating content so that I have time to create and then I have time to shoot. That's been important. So let's go into it. I have 4 things for you. Get your little pencils out, or they could be larger pencils. I don't know, or maybe you're digital. I like to write everything. Like I have journal. Oh, and you know what? I almost forgot. Subscribe, please. We're trying to get to 10,000. Now, if you're watching this after we've reached 10,000, then we're trying to get to 100,000. But first I need to get to 10,000, so please subscribe. Do that now. I'll give you a few seconds. You can just click the little button, click the little bell so you get notified, and then we'll all be happy. Here we go. Number 1, choose your niche. Now, I know that I had the 2 books out in that last video. One of them was Hook Point. The other one was 1 million followers in 30 days. Both by Brendan Kane, and Brendan says the same thing. He says, find your niche, right? Whatever that is. And your niche should revolve around one of the 3 F's, and that's facts, feelings, and fun. And when you revolve it around that, you know that you're hitting those points that people usually tune into. And that's important because as you engage people, they stick around and they look for more, right? And for instance, for me, when I'm looking at my niches, I typically go for the niche of teaching, right? Whether it's to the consumer or the real estate agent. The next, I usually go for inspiration, usually along leadership. And then the third, I typically talk about technology or software, or I even combined all of those. So I don't dance and I'm not funny. So it's kind of tough for me to figure out where to fit that in, right? So I stick to the things that I'm great at, do the same thing there. And London Lazarson said the same thing when I interviewed him. He said, hey, look, I have a niche. And if you follow him on TikTok, you know what those niches are because they're very apparent. He circulates through them there. He talks about his Tesla and how he does weird things with his Tesla, eats spaghetti in the back seat. And then he talks about Macaulay Culkin because he looks like the guy from Home Alone. And then now he's going out a little bit more with his electronic skateboard, going around town dressed like an angel, which is interesting. But it's fun, right? He's a funny guy. So find your niches, whatever that is. And if you can't find it and you're like, Tristan, I'm just having a hard time, I always recommend going through the process I created, and that's STAY. First is sell with a story. Next is teach. Next is give advice, or thank somebody, use a quote. A for advice. And then Y for you. Talk about you, bring in people by showing them what you're eating, what you're doing, all that good stuff. So just circulate through that. You should be able to find content pretty easy there. And I have a calendar for that if you need it. Just text me, message me here in the comments. And while you're at it, subscribe, right? Just in case I didn't mention that before. Subscribe. And then here we go, number 2, as you're outlining the topic, and here I'm going to share with you, I typically do this. Let me see if I've got the right screen. There you go. This, you can see, it says TikTok video number 6. Now, I sat down for about an hour and a half or so after I'd written these. And for this, I think it took me about an hour of research. So what I did is I went through and I outlined, you see one-liners there? That's the key for me. I don't want everything outlined. I just want a simple prompt. So for example, number one, don't assume home prices are negotiable, right? So I jumped on that and I talked about that because we have experience as real estate agents when it comes to that. And I wanted to free flow. I know that I can engage people through stories, through facts, and through feelings. So I'm going to go through that. Number two, the foundation, get an expert. Again, right? Examples through stories. And I can go through the whole thing like that. This is what I want you to learn from this. In order for you to succeed at a high level when you want to create content, you've got to take time to research it, do a one-liner, and then riff on it. And we don't do that enough. Look, this I can use on TikTok, I can use on Instagram, I can use anywhere. I can go for a minute, I can go longer, I can expand on the stories. So use this as an example of what to do. Number three is different day for shooting. I don't like to do the same day. I mean, you could if you want to, but I like to block different times. So let's say today's let's say it's a Wednesday. Today I'm going to use about an hour and a half to do a lot of research into the Instagram videos I'm going to do, the YouTube videos and the TikTok videos. And then let's say Friday, I've got another hour and a half blocked out, or an hour where I shoot a 5 to 10 minute video on YouTube. And then I sit down behind me. You see, I've got a camera there with a ring light and then all the rest of the lights. And then I just sit there and do TikTok videos. I don't overthink it. I just change up my hats. I have different shirts sometimes. Sometimes I leave the same shirt on. It doesn't smell bad. Trust me, it's not stinky. And then I go from there. Now, I do have something to share with you. We overthink it when it comes down to what we're going to use. And I do suggest that you just pop up your phone on one of these little tripods. This is a Jobby tripod. Just clips on, twists around. Pretty easy. Now, if you want to get a little bit more into higher quality, you're going to require we're going to need a camera. Let me share with you what I've got here. I'm going to go back to the notes and then shift them out to. So here's a video that I did, and I'll link it to the bottom, but I have one that says the best vlog setup for your business. And I use a Sony. That's the one I'm shooting with right now. And you can get one. They're not cheap, all right? But you can definitely get one if you want to up your quality here. And then you can get that fuzzy background, that bokeh feeling, that's what it's called. And you can do that too. You can get a tripod. Look at my background here. I've got this great tripod right there that there's another camera, right? But I've decided that I'm going to be shooting content on a daily basis, right? And I made sure that my team is there to help me out. So that's number three. Make sure you do it on a separate day. I don't like doing it on the same day back to back. I like to give myself a little bit of time. Number four, once you're done, send it to the editing team. Now, I'm telling you this because I made the mistake of editing everything myself for the first, I think it was like for the first year or so. And let me see, you know what? I'm gonna check right now to see if I've got some old videos. I'm gonna share with you maybe even my first video way back, and I'll show you the editing that I did. Yeah, it's here, perfect. You see the very bottom one? I actually edited all of these at the bottom. I did quite a few, and then you can start seeing I stopped and I got a team, and my team progressed. They started doing better and better, and then I upped the quality of my team and my production. I got a different camera, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the progression. But look, I went to YouTube to learn how to edit, and I did everything here. Let's just go to this one and see what it looks like. Let's see what. So you know I'm at the agentology office. This is the swag room. I mean, I was a little bit fatter too, but that's okay. So I had to learn how to edit. I had to learn how to do all that good stuff. Now you can do that, but I'm going to recommend you don't. You focus on the things that you do well. And in this case, if you're running a business, you know what that is. You shouldn't be spending your time editing your own videos. Either hire somebody out on Fiverr or get a virtual assistant, get an in-house person. I recommend you start probably with somebody that's outsourced. It's a little less expensive, right? If you have questions about that, just reach out to me. I've got plenty of choices on the virtual assistant editing side. Now we've got 7 video editors for different businesses, right? And to me, it's really important because now this is what happens. And I have a little content graphic here that I want to share with you. And it's really important to understand that there's a process in everything that we do, because let's say it's a webinar, or let's say it's a long video, like a longer type of video, maybe even a YouTube video. What you want to do is have a process that people follow. Let me see if there it is. So let me share something with you when it comes to how to have one piece of longer content edited into a smaller, maybe more pieces, right? So let's say you've got a great YouTube video you're going to do at a property about your product, and you want to break that down into 50-second, 2-minute, 3-minute increments, whether it's for Facebook, Instagram Reels, or TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. This is what we typically do. I'm going to share my screen with you. This is a graphic that we have. It shows here at the very top, you see webinar series or a longer video, and then you see the video editing. That's where my team comes in, and then they segment it and create little teasers, IGTV or TikTok. We can put those into newsletters. We can use those as ads, which you may see on YouTube sometimes. We can even make those into blogs, right? So depending on what you want to do, you can go really far with this. It's just that you have to have a plan, right? And more importantly, you've got to have help, because there's no way I would be able to do this and still function with my other businesses. I have a ton of help, so I'm telling you, go get help. If you need the graphic, let me know. Any questions you have, reach out to me, and please subscribe. I need to get to 10,000 so I can throw it to my friends and be like, see, I told you I'd get there. And if you're looking for a good book, because I always get that question too, I just finished reading this one, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. And I interviewed him on the Success Podcast. And if you haven't listened to the Success Podcast, I have no idea where you've been. Download that. And then I just picked up this one. I'm going to read this one as well. More along the brain. I love reading about the brain. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe. We'll see you next time.